Hello everyone, it's Marcia again with Then and There, and I have a new journal that I wanted to share with you guys. This one is a hardcover book. It's called The Blue Flower. I just really loved this title page. Pardon the cough, please. Tied around here is just some vintage seam binding, which I have inked up and crinkled. And that's just tied on there. I really loved this image. This book cover is from early 1900s, so it is very vintage. It has wear and tear on the corners and the edges of the book. I've added some gold gilding just to kind of accent this gold here around the flower. There are two signatures stitched into the spine. And there's the back. I love this blue color. It's one of my favorites, as you guys probably know, many of you. On the interior, I did add the fabric that covers the inside of the entire spine, so it has this fringe around the edge. The end pages are new and inked up and matching, and there's some fabric here in the spine to give it some more strength. So there's a couple layers of fabric for that purpose. This book doesn't really have a theme. It's just a very eclectic collection of vintage ephemera and images and papers. So, excuse me. In the envelope here is a little index card for journaling, and it has a sticker, like a washi sticker, and some vintage, what is that called? Ledger paper. I stitched some fabric on here, which has little blue roses on it. A vintage image here of some flowers, and this is some just inked tape, which I put there to make it look old, and some more of that ledger paper. This is an image from the book, The Blue Flower, and it has some blue flowers here in the front and some women at the well, it looks like, Grecian or Roman women. Everything's been coffee dyed except for the vintage book pages. This one here has a bird image stitched on it, layered with some paper. I used some paper tape to reinforce the vintage papers. This one here is a hymnal page, this Love Divine. Where he leads, I'll follow. Some more of that ledger paper there. Excuse me. Coffee dyed and a little bit of ink added to the pages. A vintage image of some irises, which makes a tuck spot here with just a calendar page from like a desk calendar. A lace pocket here. This is the title page from the book. And like I said, copyright 1902. Looks like the latest was 1913. So it was a fairly old book, or still is. And I like having that in there to, show just a little more information about the book cover itself. Pinned on here is a little charm with a crystal and a blue bead there with some flowers on it. I am sorry for the cough. I'm still struggling with that. Ledger paper. We have some shorthand. Sorry, some shorthand book page here, and I have just attached some writing paper here. It says notes in that pretty blue color, and it has lines on it. Center of the signature. Here's a book page which has plants just laid out on it, and placed a journal on the back, and some more of that shorthand paper, a couple beads here on the end of the paper clip. It's a page from a book which I've inked up to make it look older. It's just a book of sayings. You have to choose happiness, it doesn't choose you, and failing to prepare, we prepare to fail. I mainly really liked the happiness one. More ledger, a pocket here with the word wisdom collaged on, and a place to journal pocket. This is a book page layered with some coffee dyed paper and stitched around. This was from a painting book. We have some crocheted lace here stitched on. A little bit of fabric layered up here with this vintage image and stitched on that folds out. It's a vintage postcard from France. There's no date, but it is quite old. Another one of those hymnal pages, a little pearl stitched, hanging from the paper clip. A bit of fabric here with the blue flower on it that flips up, and then there's a place to journal on the bottom, or underneath, I should say. A little collage here with a vintage stamp and a butterfly layered up. And this I sprayed with a stencil on it. This is a a library card, which I've done some collage on, and then a postcard that has the Lord's Prayer on it and some flowers. This one came, and as well as several other things in this journal, came from Renee at what is the oh, I'm sorry. It'll be linked below. I'll link her below because she's just been a great friend to me. And she gifted me some blue things because she knows I love blue. We have a book page here. Another book page here. This one is a Bible handbook, and I did some more of that note paper there for journaling. I figured this might be a great book for a prayer journal or just a Bible journal if someone were to want to do that. Here's a vintage photograph of a family on their porch, and it has who it is and where it is on the back. It's layered with some tracing paper and a little collage of some vintage papers stitched on there. Another lace pocket here with a vintage postcard with some art on the back of it. I really loved the blue in the sky there. Complements the book. It's a French book page there. Another one of those vintage plant images or etchings. It's more of that ledger paper. This was from a school logbook. It's more of that French paper. Here we have a tiny little card of a college observatory, and it's clipped on with a paper clip which has this little flower charm on it, and this folds out, so there's plenty of journaling place here. Put everything back together. Some more of that Bible handbook page, book page. This one also was from Renee, this card here. I don't believe it's vintage, but it's vintage inspired. I loved all the blue in there. Made a little tuck spot with it and another little journaling place for you to write. Some more of that blue rose flower here on this pocket, and another vintage postcard. Loved all the blues and greens on there. It really complements the book. And you can see there is lots of writing on this. I tried to read it, but it's quite small. I was looking for a date. There's no date, but I do imagine it's rather old. And so, yeah, there's the book. This one is a rather small book. It's not as big as the others. It's 5 1/4 by about 7 3/4 with a 1 1/4, maybe 3/8 inch spine. So, yeah, I just wanted to really preserve this book cover. I love the image on it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Oh, and all the details and link will be in the description for my Etsy shop. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.